Have you ever seen a late-night host lose total control of his own stage? Not just stumble, not just get thrown off by a clever guest, but actually watch his entire show crumble around him. Do you really think the audience was laughing at the chaos? What actually happened the night Jim Carrey walked onto Jimmy Kimmel Live? What should have been a regular guest spot turned into a demolition derby with Carrey behind the wheel? Jimmy Kimmel was supposed to be the host, the captain of the ship, but within minutes he looked like a man hanging onto driftwood in a storm. Carrey didn't just steal the spotlight, he took the whole stage hostage, shredded the format, and turned it into something people are still replaying years later. This wasn't comedy the way late night usually delivers it. Safe, scripted, predictable. It was live wire chaos. The kind of unpredictability that makes your jaw drop because you realize anything could happen. Before we dive into the details of how Carrey hilariously dismantled Jimmy Kimmel in real time, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button and subscribe to Rewinding Legends. Here we bring you the unforgettable moments that made Hollywood unpredictable, outrageous, and truly legendary. And trust me, this story is one you'll want to relive again and again. The chaos started before Jim even sat down. Guests usually follow the same script. The band plays, the crowd claps, the guest walks out, waves, and politely takes their seat so the host can get on with the questions. But Jim Carrey isn't wired for polite. He came out grinning like a cartoon character who just broke free from the page. He milked the applause far longer than any normal guest, pacing back and forth, raising his arms, testing how long the audience could keep it going. Where most stars give a wave and sit, Carrey treated applause like a toy. He wanted to see how much energy he could drag out of the room, and the crowd gave him everything they had. Already, Kimmel looked unsettled. His carefully timed intro was off, his rhythm broken before he even asked a question. And then Carrey threw the knockout punch. He flashed a strange hand gesture and told the audience he was blowing the lid off Hollywood secrets, dead serious in tone. Playful in execution, he accused Kimmel of being part of a secret Illuminati-style conspiracy.
I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it.
The room erupted in laughter, which according to some people that attended the live taping was a laugh track. That no one was actually laughing. It was pin-drop silence in there. Kimmel chuckled nervously.
It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue. And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean?
But his eyes gave him away. He didn't know whether to deny it, laugh harder, or just move on. Carrey had seized control of the show in under a minute. And that was just the beginning. Instead of sitting down like a normal guest, Carrey attacked the set like it was a playground. He flopped across the chair, dangled off the arms, crouched on it, then jumped off altogether, prowling the stage with rubber limbs and manic expressions. His face twisted into shapes that didn't look human. His voice bounced from squeaky to guttural, and his body moved like he was made of elastic. Every inch of the set became part of his routine. The desk wasn't a desk anymore. It was a drum. The chair wasn't furniture. It was a prop for slapstick acrobatics. Kimmel, usually the one in command, sat stiffly at his desk, gripping his cue cards like a man clutching a life raft. You could see the unease building with every second. The host had been reduced to an observer, while his guest ran the entire circus. And the audience, they were eating it up, but from what I have been told, all the audience noise was added in after.
Yeah. You don't know, Jimmy Fallon doesn't know, David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is.
You know, the fake laughter you hear in studio recordings. A laugh track. This wasn't genuine, gut-busting, knee-slapping, tear-streaming laughter. I was told, and keep in mind I wasn't there, but people were silent as they leaned forward in their seats and listened intently to Jim Carrey.
Time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower.
And shook their heads in disbelief.
Oh, I like it.
If you know anyone that may have attended, please leave a comment to confirm what I heard. Now let's continue. Every time Kimmel tried to redirect things back to the interview, the energy dipped. Every time Carrey made a noise, a face, or a sudden unpredictable move, The fake crowd recordings exploded again and again. The camera crew even struggled. Normally they know exactly where to point the host, the guest back to the band, but Carrey refused to stay still. Carrey was dropping truth bombs.
Talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government
And Kimmel had no idea what to do.
to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on.
Kimmel desperately tried to get Carrey to focus, but Jim Carrey was having none of it this night. For viewers at home, it was obvious. The set wasn't Jimmy's anymore. It was Jim's playground. But here's what makes the moment legendary. It wasn't just physical comedy. Buried in Carrey's antics were sharp little daggers of truth. Between pratfalls and exaggerated gestures, he made jabs about Hollywood and late night itself. He told the audience, straight-faced but funny, that shows like Kimmel's existed to distract people, to keep them docile, happy, and numb, while the real world passed them by. You don't think this is true? Why do you think they call it TV programming? Imagine sitting in Jimmy's seat, while your guest tells your entire audience that you're part of the machine, keeping them blind and doing it in a way that gets laughs instead of boos. Kimmel couldn't counter it. Every time he tried to speak, Carrey steamrolled him with another truth dagger or another off-the-wall one-liner. It was Carrey's way of providing information that was disguised as comedy. At this point, the balance of power had completely flipped. Late night is supposed to belong to the host, but Kimmel was no longer steering the ship. He was clinging to the wreckage while Carrey danced on the deck. The host, who normally prided himself on being the clever one, the guy with the sharp punchlines and witty comebacks, looked like a straight man in Carrey's one-man show. He wasn't running the conversation. He was reacting to it. He wasn't the star. He was the sidekick. His nervous grin and stiff posture screamed what everyone could see. Jimmy had lost control. And Carrey didn't stop with the host. He kept telling the audience about the secrets and the lies. Imagine paying for tickets to see Jimmy Kimmel live, only to suddenly become a character in Jim Carrey's circus. The crowd went from entertained to completely shocked. Some laughed nervously. Others leaned back in awe, but everyone knew they were witnessing something special. This wasn't another safe, scripted celebrity interview. This was the chaos of Carrey Unleashed. It was the kind of unpredictability that late night hadn't seen in decades. Meanwhile, Kimmel looked like he'd aged years in minutes. His shoulders slumped, his eyes darted toward the band for help, his smile tightened into a grimace. Every time he tried to bring up Carrey's movie project or redirect the conversation, Carrey turned it into another reason to feed the audience truth. Carrey used his craft to his advantage, keeping it comedic, but serious at the same time. It was like watching a man try to put out a forest fire with a squirt gun. The harder Kimmel tried, the more irrelevant he looked. Carrey twisted his face into grotesque shapes, made noises that belonged in a cartoon soundboard, and ran circles around a host who looked like he desperately wanted a commercial break. But Carrey wasn't letting him off the hook. If Jimmy hinted at wrapping things up, Carrey pretended not to hear. If Jimmy mentioned going to break, Carrey doubled down with more energy. It was sabotage, pure and simple. And then, as if things couldn't get wilder, Carrey leaned back into his truth-teller mode. He doubled down on the idea that late-night hosts, sitcoms, and Hollywood itself exist to distract people from real issues. He framed Jimmy as part of the system that keeps audiences entertained and passive. And he did it with such conviction that the laugh track seemed to have had an edge to it. The crowd still wasn't laughing, but you could feel that little pause, that moment of recognition. Carrey wasn't just mocking Kimmel. He was exposing the entire format of late-night TV right there on its stage. Jimmy Kimmel's own show had become the punchline. When the segment finally ended, Kimmel looked drained, like he'd been through a war. Carrey? He skipped off stage like it was just another Tuesday. For him, this wasn't hard work. It was fun because he was able to get a lot of things off his chest, which I am sure weighed him down. For Jimmy, it was a public undoing, and the world noticed. Clips of the appearance went viral almost instantly. Memes of Jimmy's defeated face spread across X and Reddit. Fans crowned Carrey the real host of the night. Some joked that Jimmy should hand over his desk permanently. Others said it was the funniest thing late night had seen in years. And they weren't wrong. Carrey had turned an ordinary guest appearance into a cultural event. The aftermath cemented the moment as more than just comedy. It became a commentary on the state of late-night TV. These shows have grown predictable, safe, formulaic. Everything is pre-approved, from the questions to the jokes to the applause cues. Carrey shattered that illusion in seconds. He reminded people of what live TV used to feel like: dangerous, unpredictable, and alive. Watching him dismantle the format was like remembering how thrilling it feels when anything could happen. For one night, late night wasn't wallpaper. It was fireworks. And that's why this appearance still resonates. It wasn't just hilarious, it was unforgettable. Carrey didn't just upstage Jimmy Kimmel. He exposed the cracks in the entire system. He showed that real comedy isn't about playing it safe. It's about risk, chaos, and unpredictability. And he did it all without breaking a sweat. Jimmy may have walked away with a scar, but Carrey walked away with the crown. The night wasn't about Kimmel anymore. It was about the return of raw, unscripted comedy that refuses to play by the rules. So what do you think? Was Jim Carrey just being his wild, unpredictable self, or was there something deeper going on? Did he use that stage to expose how stale late night has become? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your take. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to Rewinding Legends. Here we rewind the moments Hollywood would rather you forget. The chaos, the scandals, the nights when live TV spun out of control. Because if one thing is certain, it's this: when Jim Carrey steps on stage, the rules don't matter, the script doesn't matter, and not even the host is safe.